Hello, jet setters. I'm Jeb Brooks from greenergrass.com. Right now, I'm in one of my favorite cities on the planet, Cape Town. I need to make my way over to Johannesburg, and I'm flying with South African Airways on that flight.
Before leaving for Joburg, I explored a bit of the waterfront in Cape Town. It's hard not to relax in such a fantastic place.
But let's head over to the airport and get this trip started.
Unfortunately, South African Airways wasn't doing as well as other carriers, even back when I took this flight. I had the opportunity to take their flagship A350 all the way to New York a week or so after this video, and I'll post that one soon. Most domestic flights in South Africa are between these two major cities, and the flight time of 2 hours is far better than the nearly 16 it would take to make the drive. Even though the flight was relatively short, I chose to book a business class seat to see all that the airline offered on a domestic route. First stop, the lounge, of course. Unfortunately, the airline's budget cuts were fairly obvious in this expansive space. The food, which had previously been a real gem for the airline, was lacking. What was certainly not lacking, however, were stunning views of the action down on the ramp. I particularly enjoyed watching this A320 from Joburg get prepared to head right back. It's easy to see from this angle just how many people it takes to make the airline industry run. From fuelers to mechanics to cleaners to caterers to baggage loaders to marshalers and everyone else out on the ramp. They're all a vital part of aviation, and they work in all kinds of conditions: rain and sleet and snow, hot and cold. They're always out there to get us moving. I also took a few photos of some of the aircraft, but the highlights weren't the ones you'd expect. I was excited when I saw this A320, the actual plane I'd be on for the short 2-hour journey. I also saw an Airlink Embraer 190 like the one I'd be on to St. Helena the next day. And speaking of that journey, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that trip. It's to one of the most remote airports in the world, out in the middle of the South Atlantic, a trip like no other. I even got to explore the airport's unique operations. You do not want to miss this. The gate used for this flight is the same one the airline uses when wide bodies operate the route, so there was plenty of space. And speaking of those wide bodies, I was able to fly this route on an A350 about a week later, but I didn't film that one because I got the chance to experience the A350 as it was designed, on an ultra long-haul 15-hour flight from Johannesburg to New York. So here on board the A320, the business class cabin is spacious and similar to what we'd call in the United States domestic first class. And soon, I was very comfortably seated. Let's take a look around the seat. There's a tray table, of course. You'll find USB power. No in-seat entertainment, but instead South African Airways provides a clever solution we'll explore in just a bit. There's some reading material, and the seats offer 39 inches of pitch and are 20 inches wide. Down here you'll find 2 buttons, one to recline and one for the footrest. I found that a little awkward. There's also an old-school communal entertainment option here in the armrest. There's some kind of box down here that limits storage and footroom. Because there's no in-seat entertainment, I'm not sure what this is. Do you know? Leave a comment if you do. That said, storage really isn't a problem because there's plenty of room in the overhead bins, including for US-sized carry-ons. To that point, boarding was complete, the jet bridge was pulled back, and we were on our way to the City of Gold. Again, there was no in-seat entertainment, but South African Airways figured out a way around that. They installed seats with a small ledge on which you can place your own tablet. But if you don't have one, no worries. There was some admittedly strange entertainment on screens above passengers' heads throughout the cabins. When it came to food, there were 3 options: fish, vegetarian, or beef. That's what I picked. It was fine, I'd call it domestic business class food sort of in a standard way. Nothing too special. Quite frankly, I was grateful to be offered anything on this flight. In only 2 hours, I didn't expect anything at all. As you can see, South African Airways did a nice job on this short domestic flight. I'd be remiss if I didn't say the flight attendants were great, very attentive and eager to be of service. It was an interesting preview of the experience I'd have with them on their A350 long-haul service from Johannesburg to New York. I wish these flight attendants had been on that flight. I'll be posting that video soon, but not before I post what I suspect will be one of the most interesting videos ever to appear on this channel. My flight with another airline, Airlink, to one of the most remote spots on the planet, St. Helena, a tiny island halfway between Africa and South America in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Between now and the next time, see you in the sky.
Thank you.